Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
You know, Great Bend is just one of the toughest environments, just an awesome gym, and you know, you're playing against 5A level talent and athleticism, and our guys, you know, there were several points in the game where they could have drifted and let it spread, but they just continued to fight and battle through everything and found a way to get a win.
I'm not going to blame the game on the final call. You know, we had a lot of possessions that we should have capitalized and could have scored two, you know, hit a few shots. This team is really good about not giving up. You know, we have a lot of grit and we just never give up.
Just kind of number one is rebounding. Rebounding got us really bad tonight. Rebounding, some post defense, not guarding the three in the zone, and we ran our stuff pretty well. But lacrosse is good. I mean, they made us work.
We weren't out of it yet. You know, we weren't out of it yet. They played 5 guys. We knew eventually we could catch up to them in the transition game and try to get some easy buckets. We just had to keep looking down the court. And it came for us, and we took advantage of them when we needed to.
For the standings, it's not going to really matter too much. Other second or third, there's a little bit of gap between us and fourth. So, you know, other than just, you know, it's a home game. We want to stay in the top 25, obviously, to try to get a chance to, if we don't win the region, to get in a large bid.
Bill Self calling out orders. Yes, a third three. No good. Offensive rebound. Wilson, and he puts it in.
Offensively, that's about as well as we've executed over a period of time, especially out of our building. I think we showed some toughness, some grit, you know, playing out of foul trouble, playing with guys nicked up and having makeshift lineups out there. I thought we played well. Oklahoma State's got a terrific team.
Teams are doing a really good job of loading up on our 2 best players, and we have to do a better job of manipulating the defense to help them. But in this league, man, we just got so many really good coaches, and and good teams, and if you don't play hard enough, you never have a chance to win.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in the midway pre-blizzard edition of Sports Day here on the mighty 1590. Joining me on the show, I'm Steve Webster, by the way. Did I say Steve Webster? I don't know. Steve Webster, thank you, Mike Hesher, who's right there. Peek around the corner there for all the folks watching on the live stream. There he is. Happy Joe. Mike Corson is in with us today. And Aaron Clark. Hello, boys.
How's it going?
It's good. They're celebrating in Kansas City right now.
What are they celebrating?
Well, they got this big parade thing going on there. There's fire trucks and everything else. Fox 4 out of Kansas City with the KSN feed there.
John Holtz is the commentator on that.
Really?
Former Great Bend. Did you see how Andy Reid celebrated winning the big game?
Got a little bit of energy.
Got a mushroom and sausage pizza and a salad. That way he'd feel better about being chubby, according to his own words.
Mushroom and sausage. That's what the big man takes. Okay, so, yeah, the big parade down in Kansas City today. Did Scotty D go to that?
No, he was here in town.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I thought we'd probably get a phone call from him. We get a live update on it. But, yeah, a lot of things happening today. And on the program, Mike Corson is going to be talking with Great Bend Lady Panther coach Cindy Beck. She'll be in studio along with sophomore Kara Feist. Recap last night's game with TMP. Look ahead to Dodge City coming up on Friday. Voice the Fort Hays State Tigers, Jordan Welbrock, joining the show to talk everything Fort Hays State. And we've got some audio today. We're going to hear just a little bit from Patrick Mahomes, just a snippet. And then Alex Smith, who has become my favorite Kansas City Chief, because he took the round ball of Patrick Mahomes' clay and taught him how to be a professional. I don't know why a lot of teams don't get that now. Why is Patrick Mahomes so good? Well, because he's really good, but he got to sit his first season, Aaron. You know, I mean, that's so huge. He wasn't thrown to the wolves. And then when he was ready to play in that Week 16 game against Denver when he went out there,
he showed incredible progress. They did it exactly right. They let him sit for the full season, and then on the last game, just give you a little peek of what you could potentially have next year and see if this was worth letting him ride the bench all season. And that game he did. That was a game where we saw him flip hands. He threw a left-handed pass in that game.
No, that was the next year.
Okay, was that the next year? My bad.
Yeah,
But
that was
still,
the next year. But no, you could see it. But Alex Smith had to know. He didn't know that. I didn't think he was going to get traded in the offseason.
probably not. Not
but you're
after
sitting
some
there
successful.
You're training your replacement. And as you continue to get better, you will get less and less information from me. I just want you to know that, okay?
You're not planning on being the Alex Smith here,
I'm
okay?
not going to be the Alex Smith.
Well,
I'm not going to get traded across town.
I'm just saying I'm not any sort of Patrick Mahomes type prospect either. Let's not act like I'm number 10 pick coming out of Tech.
You're sitting right next to Mike Corson, and you got Hash over there. I mean, look at the leaders you have here. You got Cole Reif downstairs. Well, we never see Cole, but if you can go down and go out to the games and stuff, it's
I'll
it's
have
a
to
neat
be
story. So he was on.
Have to be a sponge when I can.
So he was on the Keyshawn, J-Well, and Max, or whatever the show is, and really good, talking about his relationship with that. So that's coming up here on the program today. No, we don't have Alex Smith lined up, although don't think we couldn't if we wanted.
We'll get our people on. We have those connections. Don't worry about it.
Once Hash gets used to working the camera over here, then Hash is going to get involved in booking our guests each day. And then we will have a true Sports Day show. Smile.
Really stepping into that executive.
I'm trying to figure out how to work this in. We saw the real Steve Webster last night in Larned. Just so you know. I know I'm throwing you way off base again, but Steve Webster was in Larned last night.
Well, according to him, I'm the real Steve
Oh,
Webster.
really? Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Sports Day many years ago, since we are in our second decade, Steve Webster was a guest on
Was he really?
Sports Day. Yes.
Okay.
Steve Webster with Steve Webster here on Sports Day. And many people tell you, as good as Mitch Webster was at baseball, obviously, yeah, he's pretty good, right? How double-digit major league career, and people say Steve Webster was.
I thought Randy.
as-
I thought Randy, the middle son, was the best athlete of the three. Myself.
Really?
Yes.
See, I hadn't heard that. I knew Randy up in
He played at the Hayes Larks. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
That's
See,
my
Randy's
personal
a-
opinion, but I never saw Steve because I was too
Steve
young.
Webster played at Wichita State.
Right. But
then-
I was too young for Steve. I saw Randy.
Okay,
doing
anyway, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sorry.
okay, so you didn't work it in here to throw us off the rails, but that's okay. We got a little Steve Webster mention there. Yeah, when I used to play golf over at Grove Park back when I first came to Grape Inn in '87, and then I'd scram out of here and go over, and I was playing with the old guys. And every time I saw them, they said, "Hey, how'd Mitch do last night?" I said, "Well, no, that's I'm not that Steve Webster. Mitch isn't my brother." "Oh, okay." Then I'd see him the next day, and they say, "Hey, how'd Mitch do?" So I just started to tell him he went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and they said, "Oh yeah."
Imagine the disappointment at Tabor. Hey, we got Steve Webster. Oh, I know that kid.
That goes way back before Mitch was still coming up. Okay. I'm like a year older than him, so he had not cracked into the major leagues. I made my own name out there, okay?
He was making names for himself at Skyline back in the day. Put some respect.
Dang straight.
I know. I saw the old stomping grounds. I know how it is.
I didn't give you the tour of the school, though.
No. Just the surrounding community.
Okay, are we ready to get going here? Don't laugh. This is your fault, Hash. You get me off on a dirt road, I'll take it, man.
What about your senior picture that we have? I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
You know, they've got those in the so we're talking about WAGs, right? Because there's a lot of those now because Skyline was open like in 1964. So, and they've got these things that you move around, the big glass things. I imagine his arm was tired by the time he moved all the way around to get to my class. Yeah, I took that picture. He didn't post on Facebook. He's scared.
I figured how to get it on the live stream.
No. All right, let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours or so. Bill Mayer, head coach of the TMP Monarchs, won their 15th straight game last night, beating the Grape Bend Panthers 61-60. Another close win for the Monarchs. Man, that's a little controversial when Joe Hurdle, who had been there for a long time, had great success at TMP, and basically was let go, and they brought in Coach Mayer, who was Joe's assistant. And all he's done, man, is taken him to the state tournament like 3 times. And Man, they're well coached. They're a good team last night. They beat the Panthers 61-60. Braylon Council saying they're not going to blame the call at the end of the game. Okay, Caden Sharman takes a three. It's a tie game. Comes off the rim. Ian Premer goes up for the tip, and he was called for a push, not going over the back, but it was a push before he went up. I've seen the video on it. I can't tell. I can say the official that was out that called the foul had the best angle if he was going to make that call. So I don't know. But it came with 0.8 seconds to go. So all of a sudden you go down, you've got free throws at the other end. And stepping right up there was Dylan Worth. They're 6'8", 7". He made the first one, nothing but bottom of the net with a knuckleball. And then the second one he tried to miss on purpose, but he slammed it into the backboard and it came rolled, so it didn't hit the rim. So Great Bend had a chance. So Caden Sharman, right? I mean, he can drop a football into a trash can. He heaves it to the other end. It just missed the scoreboard, okay? That's how high it was. It came down and hit just to the right of the rim where someone could have tipped it in, but I don't think they thought it was going to be that close. Maybe it curved. But anyway, the Panthers lose 61-60.
He threw a full court baseball pass off the backboard?
Yes.
With enough arc that it almost hit the scoreboard. Think of the trajectory on this thing.
Grant Hill's like, I can't even do that.
I don't know if that was the plan or if it was to come down because Jacob Hall was down there. Ian Premer wasn't in the game because Ian had fouled out on that last play. And, yeah, it hit.
It would have been,
maybe if Premer would have been there, I don't know. He probably could have gone in and tapped it in at the buzzer. That's how good that throw was.
And we'd seen twice earlier in the game, Premer, very quick, grabbed a ball and flicked it to a teammate to keep it from going out of bounds. And so he showed those quick twitch instinct before, and I don't know, it could have been fun if he was there.
Anyway, TMP's pretty good, and it's amazing because they lost 3 players off last year's team. Dylan Worth is not a strong kid, but you see those kids get the ball inside and they'll immediately go down. I call it the well pumper because they've got to put the ball between their legs and then jack it back up to go back up. He just catches and goes up and scores. Doesn't try to dunk it, but very finesse player. Yeah, Great Bend, I wish they could have got that one last night because now they fall to 9-8. They have Dodge City, who almost beat Garden last night. Garden had to rally. They were down in the fourth quarter. And so Dodge City will come into town on Friday. Lady Panthers, we'll talk about that game with Cindy Beck coming up in just a moment. They get beat last night, 46-29, their lowest output of the season for the Lady Panthers. Okay, Rick Carlson. You heard Rick Carlson on there, the head coach of the Pawnee Heights Tigers. They lost in overtime last night to La Crosse. Great game. And it was La Crosse winning 69-66 in overtime. Rick Carlson saying rebounding kind of cost him the game. Kyle Schmidt, who watched his team come from 10 points down, thought their depth would help them out as Pawnee Heights was only playing 5. And they did. They came back and won the game in overtime. Pretty good basketball game last night in La Crosse. The Leopards win it 69-66. Alan Clark, the significance of tonight's game with the Butler Grizzlies. It's a battle for second and third, which really isn't going to matter when they put the bracket together. But Barton at 21-4, Cole said yesterday, they're right in the running for an at-large berth to the national tournament. You don't want to lose too many more. And this would be a good one tonight out on the hill as the 17th-ranked Barton Lady Cougars take on 20th-ranked Butler at 5:30. That'll be followed by the Barton and Butler men's game. Butler's ranked 19th. Barton back to receiving votes, and the Cougars have been playing well. They need to keep their momentum going. Looking forward to that doubleheader tonight. You can listen on B1043 The Point starting at 5:15.
You know what a win against Butler would be? A nice pelt in the belt.
The pelt in the belt.
Yeah, I'm taking it.
Getting some pelts on the belt. It is a good term.
I didn't know that, but it just came out. The pelt in the belt.
That's just, you're full of wisdom.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
it is.
Whatever comes out.
See, you messed up. You gave me one. You let one slip.
The pelt in the belt. Okay. The call on ESPN last night, Jalen Wilson gets a putback on a missed three-pointer to put Kansas up 80-71. Jayhawks beat Oklahoma State 87-76 in Stillwater. Bill Self's record in Stillwater going into last night's game was 6-7. Grady Dick getting 17 of his season-high 26 in the second half. That's the way it's been in the Big 12, man. You can be on a roll. Oklahoma State had won 4 straight in Big 12 conference. They were getting back up into the upper echelon a little bit. They still are. I mean, it's a big log jam up there. Great win for KU, who they've now won 3 straight. They host Baylor Saturday in Lawrence. KU now tied with Baylor and Texas. They're all 9-4. Iowa State is 7-5. Kansas State is now 7-6. Jerome Tang talking last night about his team. So many good teams, so many good coaches. They're going to scout you. They're going to know what to do, but he was disappointed in their effort last night. So they come up short in their game against on the road last night in Norman. Oklahoma lost 4 straight games. Baylor lost their first 3 games of the season. Now they're on a roll right now. Texas, they were on a roll. Then they lost a game at Texas Tech. So they continue to eat each other in the Big 12. There you go. Sounds of the past 24 hours or so. Chiefs celebrating their Super Bowl championship with a parade in Kansas City today. Let's see, what else do I have here? Vegas released quarterback Derek Carr. I guess I don't really have anything that good. Okay. Oh, Barton softball yesterday. And people say, oh, the weather was bad. Well, it's February, but they tried to get in a doubleheader yesterday at home to open the season. And Northern Oklahoma Enid. And they lost 18-12. And then the second game was postponed due to weather. What do you have?
Got some broadcasting news. Did you see that when Tom Brady finally does move into the booth next year, it's going to knock Greg Olson down from making $10 million to $3 million. He'll be relegated to the secondary team while Brady takes over the main duties, which I just think is kind of a tragedy for Greg Olson. I thought he did a fine job, a great job for most of the season even, and to just kind of get bumped down for no reason. I think he could maybe try to get out of that contract, see if someone else will give you at least more than $3 million, because maybe, I don't know if
what network he's going to go to, though.
I bet he could get
replace Tony Romo.
Good, that's a good point. I don't know where else he would go, but I don't know. It seems unfair that because he didn't really mess up, I don't know.
That's one word you cannot use on Sports Day.
That's fine.
Unfair. It's not fair. He should have won 7 Super Bowl titles.
That's true. He could have just done that, and then he would have been the big cat.
He would have been the big cat, yeah.
Did you see about Dan Orlovsky as well?
No.
Now media. He was interviewed by the Colts and Panthers for prominent offensive coaching roles within their organizations. People don't expect this to be the last time either, but fun to see him getting some.
They pick on him on ESPN all the time.
They do, and it's easy to poke fun at a guy who ran out of the back of the end zone when he was a quarterback, but he's grown since then, and he has some very well-developed takes, especially on the offense.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky, you think, well, he was just a chump, man. He wasn't very good. Man, if you just get invited to try out for a team, a free agent contract after the NFL draft, you got to be so good.
Especially to play quarterback, you have to have such a head on your shoulders to be able to run an NFL offense. And you can say what you will about what he did as a quarterback, but he was running an NFL offense. He has to have a good understanding. And the general belief amongst teams is that this won't be the last time he gets interviewed for these positions, because there is some real consensus that he could be pried away from being a media talking head.
Well, you got to be really smart to run that Skyline High School 8-man offense too, buddy.
Oh, I'd believe it.
Draw plays in the dirt, man.
You got to be quite the athlete to run that one too.
Okay, we've got Cindy Beck waiting to get in here, and Kara Feist coming up. Mike Corson here on the prowl, who's going to tell me right now what music he wants in there, because I told Hesher you'd come in here and 30 seconds before and tell me what you wanted, so I had to scramble around here. So we'll do that here during the break. Cindy Beck coming up. Also, we'll hear from Alex Smith, little snippet from Patrick Mahomes, Gerard Walbrook, all part of the Wednesday Sports Day show on KVGB. The need for nurses is constant. Barton Community College offers practical and registered nursing programs. The affordable and challenging coursework is taught by experienced instructors who care about you and have a passion for teaching in the field of nursing. Get hands-on training in the classroom, state-of-the-art simulation labs, and at clinical sites for this high-demand field. The application deadline has been extended to March 1st. Apply online at nursing.bartonccc.edu.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
There's nothing like A-STEM therapy. This is Tim Marcus from Progressive Physical Therapy in Hayes. Research shows A-STEM therapy improves muscle performance and neural functioning. It's highly effective for those dealing with tennis elbow, carpal tunnel, sports injuries, and general aches and pains.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, your local Whirlpool dealer, is holding an income tax layaway sale. Pick out what you want, put it on layaway, and pay it off when you get your tax refund. Choose from Whirlpool washers and dryers, stoves, refrigerator, and freezers. Buy a big screen HD TV, new recliners, beds, and furniture galore. Pick it out today. Put it on layaway and pay it off when you get your tax refund. Get all the details at Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, your local Whirlpool dealer at 10th and Morton.
Whether you're fighting a fever or think you need stitches, let the experienced team at the University of Kansas Health System Convenient Care Walk-In Clinic care for you. They can treat any minor illness or injury without an appointment. Hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. For quality care when you need it, visit the Convenient Care Walk-In Clinic at St. Rose Medical Pavilion in Great Bend. Learn more at kansashealthsystem.com/Great Bend.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports 90 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson, joined today by Lady Panther basketball coach Cindy Beck and sophomore Kara Feist.
Thanks for having us.
You were stuck on 7 when you came in here last week. I thought you had that.
Sadly, we're still stuck there. I was actually talking to Steve about that last night. Is right now it's just kind of trying to find a way to get over that. Not that I really think it's the curse set on us, but right now it is just trying to right the ship and find a way to get us back in that win column.
And kind of what happened there, Garden City. I think you guys were up, and then it was about a 14-point swing. Anything you can pinpoint?
Yeah, we get stuck. The crazy thing is right now it's just struggling to score. But when I go back and you watch film, it's not that we're not getting looks. Right now they just haven't been falling. And so personally, it's trying to figure out ways to get us to be able to kind of replicate that in practice of seeing those game-type speed shots and getting more comfortable with knocking them down.
And speaking of that game, so you were down 5 late. They missed a free throw that kept the door open, but how big was Sadie Spray down the stretch there? And I didn't see the shot, but I'm told it was almost impossible.
Yeah, we actually had 2. She came down the sideline once on a drive with the left hand and put one off the glass. And then we came down in attack and had 2 different looks and knocked down a 3. So it's big. As a team, we're trying to find ways of keeping us in it. Sadie's obviously the one we're looking that does a lot of scoring. But the craziest thing with it, with both the girl next to me here, Kara, and Paige Sexton both, is our rebounding game for the last 2 games. We've out-rebounded the teams big in both situations, which has been a big focus for us. When you've got Kara's length and stuff like that inside and got a couple quick putbacks on it as well, those are good things that we want to see happening. Just overall, that half-court offense, still trying to find our groove with it.
Last night, TMP thought maybe you guys were making some progress offensively, but then you hit 29.
And got stuck again. Yeah. It is. Like I said, it's just one of those things. And again, you go back and look. Our ball movement, we start seeing more zones from teams, which makes sense defensively against us. But we're getting the looks. It's just really trying to build that confidence in us overall.
Talking to Lady Panther basketball coach Cindy Beck, and we have sophomore Kara Feist. So one more maybe about TMP. the 3 runs they had, kind of that was game over for you guys. Anything you can pinpoint with how they were able to get off on those?
Yeah, overall, it's kind of a frustrating thing because they came in struggling a little bit from the outside, and for whatever reason it is, that they were able to hit the shots against us last night. We had to have a big focus on our help defense inside with Von Little and her attempt of working the ball in there, and they just got loose on it overall. So we got to take care of the ball and try to keep those runs from happening.
Kara Feist.
Hi.
So you've been given one of the best nicknames we've ever heard. Do you know what it is?
Is that the barn smeller?
Yeah, Lashley called you the barn smeller, and we made that stick. So you're a freshman last year. Some really dramatic races as a freshman. You guys win the state title in the 4x4.
Yeah.
Setting the bar awfully high for yourself.
Yeah.
So you varsity track, varsity volleyball, and basketball. Got a favorite?
Probably volleyball.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've been watching. We like it when the young kids come up and we track the career highs. So I think you've been stuck on 9 a couple times.
Yeah.
What's kind of your role maybe in bumping that up?
I try to get as many rebounds as I can off the board, but as far as shooting on the outside, I try to help as much as I can.
And I've only got to watch you guys play a couple times, but I think that game you did hit a pair of threes, and I know that's kind of one of your strong points. Is that what you prefer versus playing more down low?
Yeah.
Kara's definitely an offensive threat from that 3-point line. But like she said, it's a big thing for us for her to be able to crash the boards. As a sophomore, she's pretty long and tall for us inside, and she jumps well. So any of those little putbacks on those kinds of things inside. But to be a little bit more of another outside threat is a good attitude, a good advantage that we can have as our team.
And so obviously you're very fast. People, I wish they could go back and watch those 4x4s where you get the baton behind and you. So how do you utilize that on the basketball court?
Well, I just try to keep my head in the game and try to focus on getting, I don't know how to say it, getting ahead and trying to just stay in the mindset of trying to,
focus more just on the task at hand.
Yeah,
I think, try not to look too far in advance, but just the challenge in place at the time.
Setting, I believe, number 11 in your sub-state on the west side. One more home game against Dodge City. What do you do these last 3 games?
These 3 games are still big for us. I know we beat Dodge last time. Liberal we had at a 5-point game, and Hayes has been kind of going a little bit like us and a little bit of a struggle lately. I know they won last night, but different things. And so I still look at it, and I've told the girls, I don't count us out. I think right now it's just probably our biggest challenge is the kind of the defeat we're feeling right now and how to try to move past that and come in and be ready for the next game in each situation. But each game's still going to matter. Each game still has potential of trying to battle it out, and that's just got to be our focus overall. I think that middle of the pack in the 5A West right now is still pretty close, and I was even looking at it today trying to predict this and that, and I still think there could be a lot of movement overall, and it could get a matchup in there that isn't a terrible matchup for us. And so I want to stay as positive as I can with it.
And I was looking too. Hayes is close. So I like you guys against Hayes, so good luck.
Yeah, I said that'd be a third time, right?
Yeah.
Well, third time in one season, but that's all right. I think them, Hutch, Salinas Central, Goddard, Eisenhower are all kind of right there in that pack too. So we'll see what happens.
Lady Panthers close out the home season Friday night against Dodge City. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More sports day after this.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction. They have quite a few jobs scheduled for the new year, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Only $49.99 guaranteed. Because don't just cut down, but stop smoking. In addition, lose all the weight 100% guaranteed with Mark Patrick Seminars. Let hypnosis destroy unwanted cravings and lose the weight. Seminar Monday, February 27th, Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Great Bend. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10 p.m. Registration 10 minutes before seminar. Info at markpatrickseminars.com.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on a Wednesday here in the Golden Belt. Steve Webster with you. Patrick Mahomes. Well, it's been 5 years since Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith were teammates during Mahomes' rookie season with the Chiefs. That was in 2017. But Mahomes still thankful for what Smith taught him during their one season together. Now, during Sunday's Super Bowl postgame press conference following the Chiefs' win over the Eagles, Mahomes was asked about breaking in a new group of Chief receivers this season, and he used that opportunity to reflect on the leadership skills that he's been developing as the face of the franchise, and also mentioned Alex Smith in that process. Then Monday, Mahomes was a guest on Canty and Carlin on ESPN, and again sung the praises of one Alex Smith.
He just taught me how to be a professional quarterback. I think a lot of young guys don't get that nowadays, how you have to go about your business, how do you have to prepare yourself in order to have success on Sundays. And Alex taught me that, and I hadn't learned any of those things, and he didn't have to teach me. I was competing to kind of for his spot. So the man that he was, man, he gave me all the keys, and I was able to utilize them to make my own game plan. And I mean, what a guy, man. I got to talk to him a little bit after the game. I mean, he's just a great player and a better person, and he taught me so much that helped my career kind of skyrocket the moment I stepped on the football field.
Nice words. Then yesterday, Alex Smith was a guest on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Thought we'd bring you this segment, some great stuff here today on Sports Day from one Alex Smith.
When you hear Patrick Mahomes say something like you just heard, what does it mean to you?
I mean, it's flattering, right? And I think, I feel like I give too much credit. Those guys are being too nice. You know, listen, it's not like I was imparting wisdom to this kid daily, and I told him the secrets to being maybe the greatest quarterback of all time. You know, he had nothing to do with the situation, right? I had nothing to. We had no control over it. The powers that be, you know, put us in the room together. But I do think there was a common respect there that started that relationship and allowed for what took place. You know, he and I did everything together that year. I mean, that's just the way that quarterback room operates. And he got a front row seat. You know, I was in my 13th year. I had worked through a lot of dysfunction early on in my career to get to the point where, you know, I developed how I approached the game and prepared, and he got a front row seat to see that for, 16 weeks. From there, obviously, he took off, and it's been a completely historic, unprecedented story. So, again, flattered when he says that stuff. But, obviously, I had very little to do with the no-look passes, the, everything that is Patrick. So, again, I'm just so pumped for them. This kid is so special. Talent aside, I mean, take the freaky talent out of it, man. This kid is a competitor, how smart he is, how well he processes information, and then the person that he is on top of it for such a young age to be have the stardom that he deals with, but still be the person, still be true to himself is obviously really, really cool.
What, Alex, what did you make of his overall performance, though, in the Super Bowl?
I think it just showed so much of his maturity. I mean, we were so used to seeing his heroics, right? Like this kid that can do things that nobody else can do. He can put the team on his back at times like nobody else. I think you saw the maturity from 2 years ago when they lost in the Super Bowl, when this offensive line obviously struggled, when Patrick, I think at times tried to do maybe too much because he can. And then I think in this game to hurt the ankle again and to see him over the course of a halftime come out and be able to play a different style of football. For a young kid to be able to do that, like I just think that's so impressive to just, I'm going to beat you from the pocket all day because I am on kind of half a leg. It's so unprecedented. He basically was a spectator that entire first half, as the Eagles played keep away. And then to come out in the second half and just, again, I think the competitor in him just is also what makes him so unique. And then the scramble at the end, obviously the play to win it, unreal. So these are the ones you remember, I think. Again, the AFC Championship game, same thing on the bad ankle. This game, to come out and just find a different way to win, to be able to kind of morph your game. Hey, I'm banged up, but I'm still good enough to find a way, and I think that's what makes him so unique.
Alex Smith, former NFL quarterback, joining us here on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Alex, a lot of times talking about a lot of different sports, right? Basketball, football, baseball. You see that talent isn't enough alone, right? You need a coach that can establish the right culture that is conducive to the talent flourishing. What makes Andy Reid so special about the culture he's created within that Chiefs organization?
Yeah, I think you hit on a great point. I actually think this is Andy Reid's greatest strength, is allowing people to be themselves. And I think there's no two greater examples than Patrick and Travis Kelce. I think it's easy to forget that when Patrick came out, there were a lot of people that questioned would his style even work in the NFL, that this kid is too raw, he's too unorthodox, you can't mold him, he can't be a professional quarterback. And to see Andy bring him in, and I was there his entire rookie year. There was no time when Andy tries to handcuff this kid, right? They try to put him into a box of what a quote-unquote pro-style quarterback should look like. He's tried to mold and accentuate those strengths, if anything, like let him be him. Let's build it around him. And I think that's a credit to him. That's a credit to Andy. Like everywhere he's been, these offenses have looked different. When he was with Brett Favre, it looked different. When he was with Donovan, different. Mike Vick, it certainly looks completely different now with Patrick at the helm. And then same thing with Travis. People ask me all the time, like, how's Travis get open? Well, Andy lets him have that kind of flexibility. If you look at Travis's route tree on a piece of paper, when they draw it up, there's like 6 options on every route because he lets Travis do that. And that's kind of the beauty behind it. Certainly Travis has earned a lot of that trust over the years. But there's a lot of coaches I know out there that they wouldn't feel comfortable in that situation. They wouldn't let Travis have all those choices. And again, I do think this comes back to Andy, the culture he builds, the trust he puts in guys, and then I think the most importantly for them to be them, right? He's not trying to make you anybody else. He drafted Patrick for a reason, and then again to kind of go mold it around those strengths. So,
Alex, when do we start seriously talking and taking the Kansas City Chiefs as a dynasty? When do we really start that conversation?
I think this win puts them in one of those teams we talk about, the teams of an era. From my childhood, I remember the Dallas Cowboys of the early 90s. Like they just went to 5 straight AFC Championship games. That's unprecedented. 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. They won 2 of them. I just think Patrick, they also at the helm, they have this guy. We've never seen anything like him. He is different. And in that sense, I think they've made their mark, right, on us as we are a football culture, right? We love the NFL, and I think Patrick has made his mark. This team has made their mark. Certainly their window is still wide open. We all thought this last year was going to be a rebuilding year. They traded away Tyreek Hill. They weren't going to have a chance in the AFC as deep as it was. And, they obviously proved us wrong. So I think they're only going to kind of continue to build off this. But I think they've already kind of hit that level at this point.
Mm-hmm. Alex, let's go to the other side for a second with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, what he's battled through has been incredible. What has impressed you thus far about his early career? Man,
I couldn't be more impressed with Jalen Hurts. this kid, everything about him, I mean, his development, obviously on the field, I think also has been unprecedented. To look where he was, I mean, I played against him his rookie year, and to see where he's come in 2 years is just unbelievable. His ability to throw from the pocket, I thought this year was, again, I think he's put himself in the elite quarterback list in the NFL. But I think the thing that nobody realizes, and there's kind of this misnomer out there, I think that Jalen has the easiest job in the NFL. I mean, this O-line and the talent around him, and I think that's garbage, to be honest. This kid makes more decisions than any quarterback in the NFL. He is an extension of this offensive line in the run game. They ask him to do more, I think, than any quarterback in the NFL. As far as the complexities and balance of their offense, I mean, we saw it on Sunday. I mean, look at him. He was a one-man wrecking crew. He was this offense. And, again, I think to see it on the biggest stage for those out there that still had question marks about Jalen, right, that they breezed through the playoffs. He didn't look the same throwing the football. Man, he had one of the best performances in Super Bowl history. Now it came in a loss, which is, I think, it's a tough pill to swallow. But, I mean, if you're going to build around somebody, just look at this kid's mental makeup. Look what he stands for, his maturity. I mean, this is who you want to invest in if you're an owner. I mean, it's a kid like this. So I love it. I'm so pumped for him. I think he's amazing for football. He's a guy, like, as a father of two young boys, man, I want to go buy a Jalen Hurts jersey for my kids because that's the kind of role model I want them, to look up to.
Alex, I was going to tell you, we always keep it a buck on this show, and one of the things we always appreciate is authenticity, right? And one of the things we like about Jalen is that he's always kind of, battled against the odds and overcame. And frankly, I think your kids have a great example in their dad as somebody who's battled and overcame, from somebody who has an AFO, somebody who's gone through a traumatic leg experience, man. Thank you for literally publicly going through a lot of your pain and overcoming, because it's one hell of an example, man. You're an inspiration, brother, seriously.
Jay, well, I appreciate it, man, so much. I appreciate that a lot, man. Again, it's a unique situation, and to have been that vulnerable and to put it all out there, I'm so lucky to be where I am in life, and I'm thankful that football also had a role in giving me that back. But yeah, I'm just loving being a dad now, being able to run around with my kids. Certainly, I got to modify things when I get out of bed in the morning, but I don't feel like there's anything I can't go do.
Okay, hope you enjoyed that from ESPN Radio. And I guess if somebody asks me who my favorite Kansas City Chief is, man, that'd be Lynn Dawson, Otis Taylor, Patrick Mahomes. But Alex Smith has to be right up there as one of my favorite Kansas City Chief players ever, and what he helped do to raise the franchise to yet another level. We'll take a break here on Sports Day. Voice of the Tigers, Gerard Welbrook, coming up next here on KVGB.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Don't feel bad if you're not a phone expert. That's what we're here for. At Nextech Wireless, we'll help you in the transition to a new device step by step. Want to customize the screen? We've got you. Have questions about some of the functions? We're happy to help. You're not just another number to us. Come see us today, and we'll get you into the best phone for your needs. We're friends. We're neighbors. We are Kansas. Nextech Wireless.
It's time to head to Tiger Town to talk Fort Hays State Tiger sports with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Welbrook, on Sports Day.
Gerard Welbrook joining me on Sports Day here on a Wednesday. And just like myself, just like Mike Corson, Gerard Welbrook accurately predicted who would win the Super Bowl.
How about that? Yeah.
So did you go to a gigantic Super Bowl party, or where do you watch it at?
It was a small one with some friends. So, yeah, it was fun. That was a great game, man. I mean, that was really a great football game, and glad the way it turned out.
Yeah, I watched it with a few friends too. I watched it by myself, so that was it was actually, and I found that's the way to do it. Really,
Yeah, especially it's one thing when it's just the game and you don't have any interest in either team. You're not a fan, and then it becomes it's an event. It's a spectacle. When your team's in there, it takes on a little bit different meaning. It's a little more intense.
Yeah, definitely, it's more intense. So when did you first become a Chief fan?
I think I've always been one, but when I was a lad growing up, they were terrible.
Oh yeah,
so I was a Cowboy. I mean, it's kind of funny. A lot of my friends are Chiefs fans, always have been, but they're also either Cowboys or Steeler fans because those were the two teams, AFC, NFC. They were playing in the majority of the Super Bowls, and I mean, that it was America's team. So I was, the Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett. I love those Cowboys. I don't care at all anymore. Really, when Jerry Jones took over and how they handled Tom Landry, I was done. So, but I was always a Chiefs fan, but they were never good. And when you're a younger kid, they were nothing. But obviously, as I got older and middle school, high school, and all that, that was the team. And obviously, some lean years, but boy, it's been a fun little stretch here for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that because they did stink when you're. I mean, that's when I became a Chief fan, when they went to Super Bowl, and I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Exactly. I was just young enough. I don't remember the Super Bowl and all of that. And when you start getting, where you can remember things and you watch football, they weren't very good. So.
No, they weren't. Run down all the quarterback. Jeff Kinney was pretty good, but
yeah.
He stunk actually with everybody else.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Jared Welbrock with us, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers. So we'll get an update here. Lady Tigers got some work to do right now.
Yeah, they do. The Central Missouri game would have been a big one to get. They're going to have to win out. And probably, maybe get to the semifinals or finals of the tournament. I think to put them in a position to get an at-large. Now, if they win out the next 3 games, all of the road, it'll be Pitt State, it'll be Southern, it'll be Kearney. They're going to be in that bubble conversation because of who they've beaten, the fact they're on the road. You'd have the tiebreaker over Southern. The strength of schedule will be out of this world, win or lose. Just they're going to have one of the best strength of schedules in the country. Unfortunately, what's biting them right now, they a lot of close games, and unfortunately, they're 1-4 in 1-point games. They need to, if they could have gone 3-2, 2-3 even, but 3-2, now it's a whole different conversation, and I think they're clearly in a good position. So it's just been unfortunate. They just have not been able to get some of those close wins. I thought they played very well against Central Missouri on Saturday. They just shot free throws terrible. They were awful from the free throw line and had a hard time keeping the Jennies off the glass, especially keeping them off the offensive glass. And, I went back and watched a lot of the game, and they weren't as out of position and just getting manhandled. A lot of times Central just they'd get a hand on it, tip it up, then run it down, or they'd have a player box down, the ball would land in the one spot where Central could get it, and they usually made them pay, and that was just a tough loss for them. But you're right, they're going to have to really dig deep here because these next 3 road games are brutal.
So does Tony Hobson kind of reevaluate his schedule? You've seen this for years. They say strength of schedule, that's certainly a factor in all of this. But have you seen that actually come? Because their schedule's brutal this year, and of course you've got to beat some of them teams too. But do you reevaluate a little bit and say, well, let's get Central Christian on the schedule twice?
I don't know that he does. He likes the competition. I think what made it different this year when that exempt, because they already had Minnesota State coming to Hays. That was done over the summer early. And so, it was going to be a great game, and they lose on a last-second shot. Then that opportunity to play in that early exempt in Kansas City, which was just full of, great teams. I think, that was something that doesn't happen all the time, and he didn't want to pass that up.
Sure.
He thought it'd be a great experience. So I think that now they went 1-1, but if you win both of those, again, it's a whole different conversation. And you're right, strength of schedule comes up. but I've been around this long enough, and you know enough around Division II, and I've seen how Mark Johnson does it. Strength of schedule's great, but you need to win a lot of those games because at the end of the day, if you played Division II competition, unless your schedule was just awful, and that's not going to happen in the MIAA, the teams are too good. The wins are more important than your strength of schedule. I'm sorry, and if you win those, then you're in a great position to host. But Central Missouri was kind of in the same boat a year ago for their women. They had just an incredibly ridiculous tough schedule. They played in one of those early season things, and it was kind of the same game. Fort Hays won in Warrensburg, and that pretty much kept them out of the NCAA tournament. They had to win the MIAA, and that's kind of where Fort Hays is. It was kind of reversed this year. I go back to last year, which was a rare year. Washburn got in with 10 losses, and I still think that was an absolute travesty that Fort Hays didn't get in over them. But and look how many years Bob Chipman would just schedule, just a tough schedule. And it did their team well, but at the end of the day, it did not give them a better advantage to get into the NCAA. It probably hurt them because the losses end up mattering.
Yeah, I could agree completely. Okay, so the Fort Hays State Tiger men sitting there looking at 17-8. I mean, they're going to have to win the postseason tournament. Could you see a run like that from Mark Johnson's team?
I could, but it's going to be tough. The way they play defense, they're going to be in every game. I don't care who they play. But unfortunately, there's a few teams where the matchups on the offensive side are tough, and how you have to play, mainly the top two teams, Central Oklahoma and Northwest. The way you beat them, Fort Hays State is just not equipped to beat them. Now, they're going to play great defense, and they're going to be in that game and have a chance. And if they shoot it decent and well from the floor, they're going to have a better chance. On the men's side, it's kind of interesting. If they would win their final three, and even though the records aren't great, you're going to be sitting at 20-8. I think going into the tournament, you're right there firmly on the bubble, and then it depends on what happens. And if there's no upsets, I think there's a scenario if they can win their final three, you get to the conference tournament semifinals. If you win your final three, you're going to be in the quarters. You get to Saturday. If there's no upsets, you might be able to sneak in at an at-large. We'll see when the region rankings come out and what happens over the next 2 weeks. But I could see a scenario where the men are actually in a better position to get an at-large than the women will be. But it's going to be tough. They're going to have to, I don't know if they can win all three on the road. The Southern is the tough one. Southern I scratch my head. They have the same or very similar conference record to Fort Hays State. I think they're really, really good, but they've had a couple of really bad losses. And if Fort Hays State Pitt's going to be hard tomorrow because I think, what I've noticed is teams that aren't very good with nothing to play for are still playing really hard. I think in some years past, they would quit. And like Pittsburgh State, that's going to be a win. That's not the case. They're still playing hard, and they're battling, and there's no gimme. So that's going to be the challenge. But I think the men still have a lot to play for, but they're going to have to win out and then hope there's no craziness in all the other conferences.
Okay, Gerard, real quick here. Have things returned to normal as far as football and spring practice, and we all back to like normalcy now there?
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm not sure exactly when the spring date begins, but yeah, they're kind of back to the normal routine. I know, they've got all the transfers Fort Hays State signed. They're in and they're working out, and they'll be cranking up. But usually it's right after spring break, I think, when Chris tries to get them going. And with Fort Hays, they don't always play a spring game. Sometimes he just has a controlled scrimmage. Now, he's going to have more numbers, so it'll be interesting with all the kids they sign in the future. I think they'll have enough to do a game. But, yeah, they're back to the normal routine, which is good.
Okay, very good. Hey, Gerard, appreciate the time. And, go Chiefs. Way to be a great prognosticator on the program. You were the one of the correct ones.
I said, I had no reason to think that, but I just had a feeling, and the feeling came true.
Number 15 is reason to maybe.
Well, that's a pretty good feeling.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Gerd. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, Steve.
Okay, Gerard Walbrock joining us here on Sports Day. Back for our final segment after this.
The need for nurses is constant. Barton Community College offers practical and registered nursing programs. The affordable and challenging coursework is taught by experienced instructors who care about you and have a passion for teaching in the field of nursing. Get hands-on training in the classroom, state-of-the-art simulation labs, and at clinical sites for this high-demand field. The application deadline has been extended to March 1st. Apply online at nursing.bartonccc.edu.
If you're not filling with Cenex Premium Diesel, then you're not giving your fuel system the premium treatment. Cenex Roadmaster XL comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn, while restoring your power by up to 4.5% and your fuel economy by up to 5%. Typical number 2 diesel? I guess it covers the basics. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-851-0347. Vehicle Protection Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-851-0347 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-851-0347. What do you have to lose? Call 800-851-0347. Again, 800-851-0347.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
We always wrap up the show with any of the fellas that have stuck around. Aaron Clark is still here, along with Mike Hesher. Hesh?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure you're okay over there.
Fine.
You're really deep in thought. Okay. I forgot all about this, and Steve Coomer reminded me because he was at the game last night. So it's at halftime, Hesh, right? And I'm running the scoring down, and then I look over and Aaron's kind of like his panic look, like he's hey, I've got to do my stats, but Jim Azunas has bought me these tickets so I can win the half-court shot.
I was halfway into the stats, like reading them, when you noticed what was happening. I handed them off.
So he's got a chance to win $600. $600 if he can nail a half-court shot.
Okay, is this Jim or Aaron?
Me.
Aaron, you had the chance.
Jim Masunas has been putting my name in. Yes.
Oh, I thought it was Jim.
No, so Aaron's got to shoot a half-court shot. Halftime's going on. I said, okay, give me the stats. And then the way he keeps his stats, I looked at it, so there's no.
The handwriting is not.
No, it's not. But then I thought, well, this is fine. We can go ahead and go and do the play-by-play of Aaron Clark trying to win $600 because I thought, well, gosh, surely if he won it, right?
You would think so.
That he would, like, share it with me.
We would have been living like kings and liberal.
Okay, so, Hesh, I just want to tell you right now, that was the most pitiful half-court shot effort I've ever seen.
At least of this season that we've seen while in the field house.
No, your shot never got higher than the rim. How was
yes, it did. It got plenty high. It was just never on target. Just from the second, it looked like one of Brett Maher's field goal attempts going wide right
and way short.
Somebody had to take video of this.
Oh,
right?
I got video.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've got video from like behind the.
Is it clear video? Because Jimbo's was a little bit blurred.
Yeah, I'll try to get that pulled up. But yeah,
I thought maybe, man, okay, he's got those long arms. He can extend it out and get some arch underneath it and bank it in. And
it was not my best effort at all.
How did you feel?
I felt good. I mean, I'm a showman. I went out there being a goofball. That was what it was really all about. Made some people laugh while I was out there. I'll tell you, I had zero expectation to win. My basketball, if it was like, move this one-man sled 20 yards, I'd feel pretty good about it. Straight in a half-court shot, I wouldn't have made the layup. That's what I was happy about. They didn't get me out there trying to make the layup.
Everyone's nice because they knew your mom's down there. Because, man, if your mom wasn't down there, that thing would have been nothing but a hail of boos.
No, I've built up some goodwill from when I was substituting in there too.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've got my own level of.
You should have seen the smirks in the student section. Though.
Oh yeah, no, I saw them. Don't worry. I'm sure they've all, well.
I gave you the Hornet, the stinger
down. Trust me, I've thrown more than a few stingers down in my time.
The chance to win $600 is gone. Aaron, thanks. See you tomorrow.
This is Agriculture Today, and I'm Samantha Bennett with the K-State Radio Network. On this Wednesday's program, we begin with 2022 performance test